Hello, everyone. This is Doug Davis, uh, broker in charge with Crombie Realty, and here with another session of Ask Doug. And thought it would be appropriate to go over what a buyer should look for when buying a home or a condo, or for that matter, even vacant land, but mostly for improvements, a house especially. And it would be, well, a number of things. What should a buyer look for? Well, we're about to come November, our state has legislated that we have to disclose 5 different maps with different topics, 3 of which are water related. So are you in a tsunami zone? So is it important to you to know whether your home or condo is in a tsunami zone? If you get the siren and you got to leave in the middle of the night, seems like they're all in the night. Are you ready to pack up and head for the hills? And do you know what elevation or how far inland you have to go before you're safe? So there's maps that describe how far inland you should go to be out of risk. And so tsunami zone. And there's another map that we're required currently to use, and that's called special flood. Special flood relates to water zones like canals that overflow, streams that overflow, items like that. So was your home built in a stream bed? And there's literally thousands of homes built in stream beds, which have been taken out of this. The stream bed has been channeled into a canal, or water areas that go into the ocean. But are you in an old stream bed? So if you have a really heavy rain, will it go over? Well, sometimes they do. And East Honolulu has had massive overflows from just gigantic rains that have been going on for days and days and days. The water's saturated, so it gets out of control and overflows, and there's flooding in certain areas. Well, you can get a map that will show you what areas would be prone to that. So that's called special flood, and there's a map associated with that. So tsunami zone, special flood. And then we have another new one. We have a map, and that's a required one currently, and that's are you in the sea level rise? What will happen in the next 100 years? And we're supposed to show on a map what it would be like at 3.2 foot elevation. And certain areas are inundated with that elevation. But that could be another 100 or more years from now for that elevation, based on the pluses and minuses of probability on that. So there's 3 things to evaluate when you're purchasing a property that might be in those water areas. Okay, then the next 2 are not entirely new, but having a map associated with it is new, and that starts in November. And that's a noise zone and an air compatibility use zone. So those are related to airports and military airports, and the noise associated with it, and the flight paths, that sort of thing. So be kind of a surprise if you visited a house that you're buying a couple of times and it was all quiet, and then you move in and then there's airplanes going over your house for the next hour. So the Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Base, it's not continuous, but sometimes they have practice, and they make a huge racket in all of Kaneohe Bay. And that might be a surprise because that's not an everyday occurrence. So something like that. So if you saw a map, that would alert you that there's a noise issue in that particular neighborhood, you might want to know that. So that's some things for a buyer to evaluate, at least in Hawaii. I would want to know fault zone, like if you were in California, is it more prone in this neighborhood versus another neighborhood? That kind of thing. The other would be systems, and it's highly advisable to get a home inspector to inspect the home and get a big picture of all the different things. And they put caveats in there that we're not plumbers, roofers, electricians, that sort of thing. So you may want to get a secondary opinion from one or more of those. So I was just involved with a house purchase, and the home inspector didn't catch it, but the plumber came to look and cost out renovation costs. And almost instantly he said, well, the master bathroom doesn't have a vent pipe going up to the roof. I mean, how do you see things like that? It's just incredible. So you might want to have various experts go and evaluate the property and all the systems. If your sewer pipe's not evaluated, if you don't get it scoped, what happens if it gets clogged? You know, over the years, fats that go down the drains from the kitchen, for the most part, accumulate, and just like our arteries in our bodies, they get clogged. And same thing with the pipes that going through the home. Now, if you have a 50-year-old home, that might be rather substantial at that point. But they have tools, little drill type claws that go through and chew the pipe clear in 3 different directions. They have these multi heads that go through and clean it up nice and tidy. So all these things, for the most part, can be fixed. But you need to know about it, or it's at your cost, I would suppose, if you buy it and then it happens to you. You want to check your air conditioning systems. You've got alarms, you've got maybe a swimming pool and pumps and jacuzzis, air conditioning, sound systems, roofing. You should get all of that looked at. I think real important to get a good idea of what life expectancy might be on the various things and what that cost might be before you make your final decision to purchase and continue with it. So anyway, those are some things to think about if you're a buyer for the physical aspects of the property. And just keep your eyes open and have these things evaluated. All right, that's it. If you have questions, love to hear from you. And if you have property management needs, buying or selling, please let me know. Until next week, thanks so much for listening.